This video is going to show you how to use the new whiteboards in ACAD 130 and 229. To pull up the whiteboard, you're going to click on the cloud icon. You can also put this on your own individual computers if you want to, but it is installed in all of the classroom computers. Click on this to open it. If the software has been activated, it'll open to a blank canvas like this. Before you start to do anything, you'll probably be prompted to try and sign in. You can absolutely sign in using your Microsoft single sign-on, so click on the Microsoft logo. This will launch our traditional Microsoft single sign-on that you've probably become quite familiar with. You can put in your Niagara University email address, click Next. Your same password that you use for Canvas, myNU, self-service, everything else. It's up to you if you want to remain signed in. If you're signing in on a classroom computer, I would discourage it, so I would say no. However, if the signing in is not working for you, it is not required to use the ViewBoard. You can still use the board and all its utilities as a guest. So if signing in gives you trouble, do not worry about that. You can also save any of your ViewBoard applications to a flash drive. Now I'm going to walk through what the different utilities are. By default, it's going to turn on to a pen icon and it's going to turn on with a black. So if you wanted to just start immediately writing, you can. But I'm going to go through what all of these different things mean. So you have the option to move the floating toolbar if it's in your way. You do that by clicking on this little 4-point arrow icon. So you can click here and hold and move it wherever you'd like. The larger main toolbar, you only have the option to dock down below, or if I click on it, I can dock it off to the side. But those are really your only two options, so going back and forth between the two. I'm going to slip to the next page. This is your different page navigation, so you can see that I advanced to this next page by clicking on the right arrow. I can also add a new page by clicking on the plus button or by Control-Shift and an N. And I can also see the page management menu. So if you're using lots of different pages, much like you would on a pad of paper, clicking on the page manager can be sort of helpful, so you can sort of scroll through all the different pages that you have and set them up. You also, if you don't like a linear view, you can switch it to a, pop it out to a horizontal view here if you'd like. And then if you want a brand new page, you can just click it on there. And so now that's page 4 and it's completely blank. We talked about the pen icon quickly. You touch things once to activate it, and then you touch it again to bring up your options and open the menu. So by default, it's a marker pen. This does work with any type of stylus or just your finger. And then you can change, of course, your different colors, and you can change your different point sizes. The pens in the room are double-sided, you'll notice, so that's why you have two different kinds of icons for the finer point and the bolder point. And of course, there are different pen icons like a highlighter, a laser pointer, etc. to play around with. But just remember, you always tap a utility on the menu once to activate it, and then touch it again to open the menu associated with it. The next feature is the eraser. Again, you touch it once to activate it, and you touch it again to open the menu. So you have a few different options for the eraser. You can choose the size to make it larger if you want a larger area to erase with. And then you also have the ability to draw a circle around and then tap in the center to erase something. I just quickly drew my name to demonstrate this. So if I draw a circle around here, and then I tap, it disappears. The nice thing about these erasers is you can use the erasers that are on the boards, but you can also use a closed fist. So keep in mind that you have different eraser options, and you can play with those as well. Shapes are quite fun. Again, I'm going to tap it once to activate it and tap it again to open another menu. So if you need different shapes, there's all sorts of options here for you. And this is also where you can get into your three-dimensional shapes as well. Once you select a shape that you want, you can begin drawing it. You can click and hold. The nice feature is it does measure it for you and give you the dimensions as you're drawing it. And then it brings up a whole host of other menus that you can play with to work with your shape. So for example, if you want to spin it around, you can, and it'll change the shape for you. There's many, many different features here as far as what the shapes can do. And as you mouse over them, they start to tell you what the different utilities are. So the measurements feature can be quite handy if you're trying to get a very specific shape, for example. Rotating them, filling the color, that sort of thing. There's a pretty robust shapes menu, and you also have the three-dimensional shapes as well. So if you want to do like maybe the conical shape, you can and I want it to be, purple. One feature that can be kind of handy is if you're creating these is you can actually save individual shapes as image files. So if you want this exact cone for whatever reason, you can export it and save it as a JPEG for yourself. So playing around the shapes is a good idea just to kind of get comfortable with the menu. This is to build a table, which can be kind of handy if you're like, actually let me clear what I've got here so far. So a table, if you want like people to sign up and like build a grid, you can do it just like I'm doing right now, and then you can write on there, for example. So that's all under your shapes menu. The text editor is by default, when it's the capital T, it's going to bring it up so you would have to type in here. This can also be a little bit handy because it will read it to you if you click on the T.
Niagara University.
You can hear the text editor reader. Or you can touch the giant T again and change it to the handwriting recognition. So if your handwriting is a little sloppy, like if I do like that, it kind of straightens it out to make it look a little bit more like a W. And then over here in this menu, this is where I can convert that handwriting to actual text. So I can make that to a W, which shrinks back down. So you can write like Niagara, and then over on your other menu, change that handwriting to text, and it'll fit it for you. This might be handy at the end of class if you're trying to save all of your handwritten notes. So then keep in mind that these are sort of your basic tools: your marker, your eraser, your shapes, and then your text editor. Those will probably be what you use the most often. The next video I produce will go into more sophisticated tools like your magic box and taking photos and embedding video clips. Thanks for watching.